Welcome to Wayne Bouchard show. No, I'm going to get well, that's what we'll change it to the Wayne Bouchard show. But actually, it's Democracy 2.0 with Wayne Bouchard. How do you like that one? You like that? You said you're always changing, democracy thing. Maybe we'll make it the Wayne Bouchard show.
Well, we'll have to talk about it.
No one could take that name. Oh, I guess there might be other Wayne Bouchards around.
I kind of doubt it.
Okay. But anyway, and you heard on MalcolmPresents.com. I have to do that because otherwise I won't know where the hell to find you.
Yeah, well.
And we talk about anything, and we talk about anything and everything in the news.
That might be a good thing if they can't find us, Malcolm.
Well, maybe for you, but for me, I want to earn a living off of this damn thing eventually.
Oh, okay.
Aside from the fact that I want to be shape public opinion.
Shape public opinion. That's
right.
That's a noble goal? Like
no. It's only a noble goal if I want to shape it in the right way. I want to shape it in my way. I want the world to be shaped in my image.
Well, then I think we're all in trouble.
Well, we are all in trouble anyway.
Right.
And then the reason I'm saying this, I was just on vacation and we went to Cambria, which is it's Cambria, California. And it's 8 miles away from San Simeon. And we went on a tour of the Hearst Castle. I don't know if you've ever been up there, but it's a magnificent. I don't know if you're freezing or you're just not moving. We went to the Hearst Castle, and
okay.
What?
I said, oh, okay. I know.
Yeah. So anyway, the Hearst Castle. I don't know if you've seen Citizen Kane with Orson Welles.
Oh, a couple of times.
Yeah, that is supposed to be the story of William Randolph Hearst.
Mm-hmm.
And he was that type of guy who wanted things done his way. And with the, I think they started the term yellow journalism when he had the San Francisco Examiner and several other papers that reached, millions of people. And he wasn't interested in the news. He wanted the news the way he wanted the news. He didn't care about the facts. Does it remind you of someone? But anyway,
yes.
Anyway, that's what I was saying. That's why I got into this whole tirade at the beginning of the show. So anyway, that's my explanation. So what's on your mind this week? What do you think is the top news stories of the week?
Aside from the news stories,
we'll save the Queen till after.
We'll save the Queen. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. God save the Queen. No, that's too late for that.
And God save the King now. Yeah. God save the King. I was interested to see the read between the lines of the commentary when Putin and Xi met today. And I think the headline was something to the effect that the Chinese had questions and reservations and concerns about the Ukrainian invasion. And it, certainly appeared that the Chinese endorsement was on a lot shakier ground than what we originally thought it was. So that was encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that, China's going to come out in the next couple of days and repudiate the Russian invasion of the Ukraine, but there's certainly not that robust kind of support that they once had. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if he has got robust support from anyone on the invasion.
The guy in Hungary, what's his name?
Yeah, the new prime minister, the new president. I always forget the prime minister.
I can't think of his name. Orban. he's another tyrant. As a matter of fact, the conservative political caucus had him down in Texas here a couple of weeks ago. Is it
Oh,
Herman? Herman, or his first name escapes me.
yeah. So he endorsed.
He endorses Putin's invasion. I think Iran is very enthusiastically behind Putin, and
Probably Brazil also.
I'm not sure about Brazil. I haven't really heard that much about Brazil.
Because he's a big Trumpite.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, the think they have an election in October, and already he is saying if he loses, it's fixed.
right, right. Where does that sound familiar?
A little bit, but again, he's very pro Trump, pro
Joe
Trump,
Trump. Yeah, Joe Trump. Yeah, I know what you mean.
and the frightening thing about it, I think he was head of the armed forces of Brazil before he became president.
Was he?
Yeah,
I'm not sure about
so
that.
there could be like a military takeover if he is defeated, which he threatens.
Yeah, well, we've created this world and it's somewhat unstable.
Yeah, or somewhat.
I think the most disturbing thing today that was in the news is this the treatment of some of these immigrants. Governor DeSantis sent a couple of plane loads of people up to Martha's Vineyard, and Texas sent a couple of bus loads to Vice President Harris's residence in D.C. And I just think, it's kind of cute and it's kind of funny and it's kind of a nifty political stunt. But what about all those people?
Right, yeah. I mean, the thing, and they didn't know where they were going or why.
What about these people can't speak English? They don't have a clue as to what the hell's going on. And these guys are playing games with people's lives.
Yeah.
And that, quite frankly, that just, infuriates me. It really, really doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth for either one of those guys, and their tactics are just, they're just cruel.
Yeah, well, I never thought much of them anyway to begin with, but
Well, now they're showing their true colors. Let's terrorize these people let's play a political joke at the expense of these poor innocent people, and they are innocent.
well, that's funny. I was speaking to an old friend actually from high school yesterday, and he was talking about, and I don't know if he's not a Trumpite, but like a lot of us, he's worried about the immigration policies that we have and what we're going to do about it. And he was talking about whether it's right to let all these, immigrants into our country, or what we could do with them. And what I said is, well, I know what we can't do with them. We can't not pay any attention to them, and just, he said, well, we can't let them in the country. I said, well, what are we going to do with them? He said, well, let's barricade our country and have them. So I said, so you're going to let them suffer in Mexico, or die in Mexico, or die whatever the border town is. I mean, I said, I don't know the answer. If I knew the answer, I'd run for president. But I know it's not. You can't just not pay attention to them, because again, it's not only that they're in Mexico, but it's not only Latinos; it's people from all over the world.
Yes,
Because wherever they're living is inhabitable. But we have to have a policy, which we don't.
we do not have a sound immigration policy. Not even the rudimentary
Yeah, well, not even sound.
beginnings
What do you
of a
mean?
sound policy.
I mean, again, as you know, I'm Jewish and he's Jewish also. I said, well, how about instead of, being Latino or being Armenian or being, Haitian, they were Jews.
Hmm.
Jews during the World War II, and you didn't let them in. You say, okay, what difference does it make where they live?
Right. It made a big difference,
Right.
obviously.
And I think there's a movie called Ship of Fools where they didn't let the boat in from Germany that had a lot of the Jewish immigrants running away from Hitler.
Hmm.
Eventually, had to go back. None of the countries let them in, or let the boat dock. And
Hmm.
eventually, they went back to Germany and were exterminated. So again, and the big question is, yes, I don't like, uh, this group of immigrants coming in and just walking past the border. But again, I'm not sure what to do with them. But I know it's not by just putting a big gate up, not letting them in.
It's not by ignoring the problem, and
Right.
we've ignored the problem, and it's not by building a wall to try to keep them out because that would be, it just would not be enforceable. It makes for good political fodder from Trump and his supporters,
Yeah.
but it's not a practical solution.
No,
We don't have a sound immigration policy. We haven't had one for years,
I,
decades.
I think we had one for 50 years.
So, how do we get the Democrats and the Republicans to sit down at the conference table and hammer out a compromise plan that's acceptable to everyone, acceptable to both
No,
sides?
no, I think if Biden can do that within the next 2 years, I might vote for him to be reelected. I mean,
So,
it's gotten some things through, which is
well,
the
I
RRA.
have to say that when I woke up this morning and found out that they had averted a railroad strike,
Yeah.
and the secretaries of labor and agriculture and commerce were meeting for 20 hours yesterday with the union executives, and I thought, well, one day out of the year, those poor bastards at the government had to work hard.
Well, it's interesting. I like to see I haven't seen like Fox News about what they say about the aversion of the strike. I know the other days they were talking about what a poor manager, Biden was if there's a strike. How it's going to, be so
Yeah,
disastrous to the economy. Now that they have a solution, I don't know if they're going to praise him.
I doubt if Fox News will praise Joe Biden for anything.
And they'll probably say, despite Joe Biden, there was a compromise.
Yeah, they'll give credit to somebody else.
Yeah. It's funny. I was watching Hannity. No matter what he does, if he makes a wrong turn, off the podium, they say, "Look at him. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's lost."
Yeah, he's not in full control of
Not in
his.
control. And if it's something good that he does, well, he's being controlled by the left wing.
Yeah, well,
He's not his own man.
yeah, this whole thing with the railroad strike was going to be disastrous
Oh
for.
yeah, they said that would be the economy would lose $2 billion a day.
Yeah, and I think there was some. I think there's some alternative measures that are at the government's disposal. I think that there's a mandatory 90-day cooling off period that they can impose on the unions and not let them strike. But I'm not sure about that. I should have looked that up before we went on the air.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why next time we'll talk to our producer.
yeah,
And,
I don't know what the hell these interns are doing,
no,
Malcolm, but I'm certainly not
researchers,
getting
right?
up to date information.
I think we have to have a whole different group of researchers. Well,
Yes.
by the way, what's Megan doing? Would she volunteer?
Yeah. I think Megan is in the middle of writing a new song, and she's all excited about that.
Ah,
So,
I didn't know she was a composer or a songwriter.
pardon?
I didn't know she was a songwriter.
Well, she was a poet, and and she's written a lot of poems, and she's written a couple of books. So she decided to, try her hand at writing a song. I think another woman that she knows was writing a song and was kind of stumped. So the two of them are collaborating.
Well, I'll tell you, the songs that I like generally tell a story. It's like the Rod Stewart when he says songs, or Neil Simon. And words don't necessarily run. They're like poems put to music. They tell a story.
Isn't that Bob Dylan's claim to fame?
Yeah, Bob Dylan's claim to fame is he sings off key or whatever. His voice
Well,
totally.
Certainly no lack of lyrics in his music.
Oh no! But I remember when the other I liked him. I liked the tone of his voice and the way he sang. But the older generation, which I hate to say that because I'm part of the older generation now.
Yes, we are.
But the older generation, or my parents, that age, they didn't like him. They thought he sang totally off key and totally, they didn't like his voice. He wasn't like the Perry Comos or the
Frank Sinatra,
the Frank Sinatras.
Oh, my mother hated Bob Dylan, and when we used to get together and have a family picnic, I have 5 brothers, and we would all get together, my 5 brothers, and I have a couple of brothers who played guitar. As a matter of fact, I have one brother who builds guitars. And we would sing this one particular song. I'm not even sure what the hell the name of the song was, but the chorus line was something like, no, it ain't me, babe.
Hey, no.
And we would just scream that out, and my mother just hated that, and we do it just to torture her.
I don't know
if it was done with love.
I don't know if you've ever heard of a singer, Tom Waits.
Yes.
Yeah, Tom Waits sounds like he was drunk for most of his life, because he has, especially to get older, he got this raspy voice. But I love his songs, and I actually love his voice also. It's people who hear them and say, "What? This guy drunk?"
Did you ever hear of a guy by the name of Dave Van Ronk?
Yeah, I can't quite place his songs. I wasn't.
Well, Dave Van Ronk was a folk singer in Greenwich Village in the 50s and 60s. And as a matter of fact, Bob Dylan, when he came to Greenwich Village from Minnesota, that was his first job, was playing the harmonica for Dave Van Ronk for $1 a day.
I used to go to. I lived in the West Village in the 70s, actually the late 60s, and I used to go to Gertie's Folk City.
Yes,
and
Dave Van Ronk used to sing there.
Okay, I probably heard him then. I forgot, but they used to have a lot of these folk singers. These I forget their names, but they were like a group of I don't. It was like Brother Somebody or others, and they were black and blind.
Oh,
I remember that, and they used to sit on the stage and strum the guitar and sing the blues, and I used to love that, especially again, shot of scotch in one hand and my Marlboro in the other hand. So you take a shot.
There you go.
Cigarette.
Those were the days, Malcolm.
Yeah, the days of innocence.
Those were the days. And what the hell has that got to do with current affairs?
It shaped my view of the world as it is today.
Yes.
So I'm looking at from an alcoholic smoker.
Yeah, I used to ask this question of people all the time.
I didn't know you were Jewish.
No.
That's why is this night? That's Passover. Why is this night different from all other nights? Anyway, forget about that. Anyway,
I used to ask this question: if you could throw a dinner party, and you could invite any 3 people in world history, Who would you invite?
And who would
Any
you,
three people.
who
So
would I like?
I always found the answers fascinating. The
I think
people, some people would come up with.
Marilyn Monroe, Sophia Loren,
And Bridget Bardot.
and Bridget Bardot.
There you go. There you go. That shows your true colors.
Well, that shows the fact that I'm on a diet, and with those three ladies here, I probably couldn't eat anything because I'd have my mouth wide open. Now, the traditional thing of that question is I'd have Jesus. I would like to speak to Jesus.
Yeah. Jesus was always on my list.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson. And, the third one varied from, Leonardo da Vinci to Thomas Edison, or not Thomas Edison, Einstein.
Now, I would like somebody like Woody Guthrie because I loved his songs and I love his attitude of life.
Yeah, I always used to try to include either Bobby or Jack Kennedy.
Yeah.
But Woody Guthrie, I think, is getting a resurgence of popularity into the country, in his music anyway. But Woody Guthrie was a far out radical in his time.
Yeah, well, it was his songs about unions at the time.
Yes. If you play the second verse, which they never do, of This Land
Is Your Land. Now you're freezing. This land is your land. This land is my land. Now you're freezing up, kid. I don't know if you see me, but I just can't hear you. Let's see what happens. Let's hope you come back into existence. Your picture comes on. But anyway, yeah, he basically went around the world with not around the world, but around the country, trying to get equality for the workers, trying to get things done. Now you're off, so I assume let me call you up and find out if I can get you back. Anyway, guys, please, if when you're watching the show, please have some patience. Let me see if we can get. Okay, I think he's coming back. I think you're coming back. You went off for a minute.
I'm not sure what happens.
Were you just waited, or you had to relink me?
Oh no, it did it automatically.
Did it automatically because I was just going to give you a call. Anyway, yeah, Woody Guthrie toured to the country talking about the poor folks, talking about the Okies that were the Dust Bowl. There was a famous movie with him. Now I'm forgetting the name of the actor, David Carradine, who played Woody Guthrie.
Well, really, I don't think I ever saw that.
Yeah, and I forget the name of the movie, but yeah, check on it. And it was about how he left the Dust Bowl, put his guitar in his back, and went hitchhiking like a hobo. And he made money
the Dust Bowl ballads.
Yeah, and he got money by playing in various bars or on the street.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then
he was basically a bum.
Yeah, and then he got a job in a radio station and became I think finally it picked up by NBC and it became a big show. He's making good money. But what happened is the producers and the owners were telling him what songs to play.
Yeah.
And he wanted to play the music that he wanted to play. So what he did, he picked up his guitar and he left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went on the next boxcar to wherever. I know eventually he wound up familiar with him. I'm familiar with him. He wound up living in Coney Island with his wife, and as I say, I'm a Coney Island boy.
Well, he ended up in Greystone State Institution here in New Jersey, not too far from where I live, which was he had.
He had whatever it was,
Hopkins disease or one of those.
No, it was something that was an hereditary disease.
Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yeah, ALS.
Yeah.
But but his son did very well, Arlo Guthrie.
I've seen Arlo many times, been to the famous church in West Stockbridge where they did Alice's
Yeah,
Restaurant.
I mean that was his big song. I don't remember. I've heard him in a lot of folk music, but I know his signature song was "You Can Get Anything You Want at Alice's Restaurant."
There was an Alice's Restaurant in West Stockbridge, and it hasn't been Alice's Restaurant for good good God, I don't know how many years, 30, 40 years now.
Well, again, there's a movie on that about him
And,
writing this.
but the whoever has this restaurant, they always have a sign, formerly Alice's
Anyway,
Restaurant.
Alice's Restaurant.
Yeah, just around the corner by the railroad tracks.
Yeah, I forgot. He was saying with all the rapists and things that are going on, they gave me a ticket for dumping something in the yard,
Garbage.
garbage.
Yeah, for
Those
being a litter box.
and then who I loved as a follower of Arlo Guthrie, who actually was a friend of his, Pete Seeger.
Yeah,
As you
I
can tell,
saw.
as you can tell, I was into folk music.
Me too. I saw Pete Seeger and Arlo Guthrie together at a concert, not too far from where I live here in a place called Waterloo Village.
Waterloo,
And
significant.
it was sad because Pete Seeger was getting pretty old at the time, and he was forgetting the lines to the songs, and Arlo would have to help him
Uh,
along on a couple of these songs, and it was kind of sad to see that, but
yeah, but he could hum it.
yeah, he did.
I mean, he had a
He did.
way of playing the guitar of not losing himself,
Yeah, he played the banjo most of the time.
like the banjo.
Yeah, I don't know if Arlo's still touring or not, but
I haven't heard about him in a long time. But
he
anyway,
had, he had some great hair, man.
oh yeah.
He had some great hair.
And what is
What
it?
else do we have to talk about today?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it was a slow day in politics. By the way, did the judge ever hand down the decision about
No, I didn't see
OJ?
it.
No.
I did see one headline right before we came on that was interesting, and that was an interview they had with the district attorney in Fulton County, Georgia, and she said that their inquiry is definitely going to lead to uh, prison sentences for some people.
Well, what the problem is, which I was thinking about earlier before the show, there is so much litigation and so many
Mm-hmm.
allegations and so many investigations of Trump that I could see that somebody that really believes in Trump can say, "Oh, they're trying to railroad him. They're trying to get any excuse they can." But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he really did all these things. But the thing is,
Well,
there's so many. You say, "Oh my God, how could he get away with all of that?"
so many things. You have this whole thing going on in Georgia, and separately they have investigations, civil investigations in New York. And there was something on the news about that. The state's attorney for New York refused some compromise. And then they have the January 6th hearings. There's just, he's got a
And
lot of stuff
and
going
then
on.
and there's nothing about the people who accuse him of the sex scandals.
Oh, no, that's all gone away.
It's all going to.
Gone away. Sex doesn't count when you're talking about politics.
Oh, when you're talking about Trump, oh my God.
Yeah.
But it should be interesting. See what happens. Anyway, with all this meandering and talking about it, we have a minute left.
We have a minute left.
We did 30 seconds talking about, I don't know what we talked about. It's gonna be hard for me to write a summary of what the show's about. But I found it interesting. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it was. We went like this. From up here, then we quickly went over here, down here, up here, back over.
Yeah, and some people wouldn't believe the show was unscripted.
Yeah, it's kind of like watching a water bug
Yeah.
On a hot day,
Yeah. Yeah.
skirting around the pond.
Right. Or watching a horror movie and see what happens next.
Yeah, at least we didn't have any chainsaws.
No, actually, I met him, one of them, not the chainsaw guy, Freddie. One time I was at a bar in the valley here, and I was sitting next to him. I said, "I know you," and he said, "Please don't leave." I'm really a nice guy. I have Freddie Krueger. I forget
Oh,
his
okay.
name now, but he was such a sweetheart.
Find anything related to
It
his real
it,
name
it, it,
now.
it funny is like one time I met this uh what was his name? He was this pro wrestler that was a bad guy, and he used to have rubber bands in his beard. And I met him in a bar, and he's Cyndi Lauper's uncle,
You said what?
Albano. He's Lauper's uncle, Lou Albano.
Okay.
He was a big, tough guy in wrestling, and he gruff, and he he used to have this straggly beard that he would keep rubber bands in it, and in fact, he was in one of the videos that Cyndi Lauper had. Girls just want to have fun. He's one of the guys running around. But anyway, then I met him in a bar and we had a few drinks. He was such a soft person. And he was doing
Hmm.
like children's cartoon voiceover for children's cartoons. Complete
Hmm.
antithesis of what his, a media persona is. Anyway, under that note, have a good week. We're out.
I'm going to try, Malcolm. I don't know what you do about that part where I went off the air, but good luck with that.
Well,
Huh?
what I'm going to do, since I don't really edit it, we're just going to go through with it, and people are going to have to care. And I apologize in advance. There's about maybe a minute or so that I'm just ranting and talking, and probably talking nonsense, trying to fill the time because I know I know we're going to get back to him. That Wayne's going to come back, so we'll leave it. I mean, this is like the old days of live TV.
All right.
You remember that? It was
Oh, I sure do.
with all the goofs and the missteps and everything, but it was live. And
Mhm.
now what they do is they have all these shows that have all the errors that people do, all the miscues.
Yeah.
Okay, stop rolling, retake. This is the old time television. There ain't no retakes. We just go straight through.
Got it. Okay.
Anyway, I will speak to you next week.
All right.
Then I left to
Let's get
Megan.
together earlier and plan the show because you said that Max wants to come on.
Max wants to come on, so we'll get her on next
We'll
week.
have to talk a couple of days ahead of time so we figure out what the hell we're doing.
We don't. Why? Do we ever know what we're doing?
Yeah, I need to know somewhat what I'm doing.
That might be dangerous. Bye. Well, okay, I'll tell Max. She'll get in contact with you. Bye.